Hey, welcome back to the October edition, mid-month, of Canadian Podcaster Online Magazine. It's Dave. Glad to have you back with me. We just had Turkey Day, pumpkin pie galore. We're getting over our Thanksgiving hangover with all that great food and moving on with our podcast into the fall. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for being part of the show. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving, Canadian Thanksgiving. It's funny, I have American podcasting friends and they're like, why do you guys have your Thanksgiving so early? And I said to them, why do you have your Thanksgiving so late? And we laughed. And I hope you had a great Thanksgiving holiday. We are talking about everything to do with our October edition of the Canadian Podcaster Online Magazine. If you're listening to this and you've never seen our online magazine for Canadian podcasters, CanadianPodcaster.com is where you need to go, and you can see all of the most recent episodes and editions of the magazine. And one thing I love about this magazine, throwing a spotlight on Canadian podcasters just like you. If you want your podcast featured in November's edition, which would be my birthday edition because it's my birthday, if you want your podcast featured in November, then please reach out, CanadianPodcaster.com. We'd love to have you right here on this show. And what we do in the middle of the month, on the 15th of every month, is we give you a little taste, kind of like a Thanksgiving dinner of all of these different podcasters that are featured in the magazine. You actually get to hear parts of their show, and you can go through the magazine directly to their podcast. If it's a podcast you're curious about, use the magazine as a way to add great new podcasts to your automatically updated and followed shows on your app of choice. And you get to fall in love with another great Canadian podcaster. So again, thank you for being here. Let's jump in. So one of the things I find encouraging in the Canadian Podcaster Online Magazine for October is the Canadian Podcast listener stats. And it's near the beginning of the magazine. You're going to see we're growing. And I love that. It's so amazing to see the percentages grow over time. Back in 2017, 24% monthly podcast consumption in Canada, all the way up to 2025, now at 46%. And there's links to go through and check out the Canadian Podcast Listener Report and get more information. And I think it's just encouraging for us as podcasters to know what's going on in the space. And for a group like this to compile this information and create that for us so that we can see what's happening within the country, within podcasting, and have a better sense of how our world is changing and how podcast is growing. I think it's great. So definitely go check out the Canadian Podcast Listener Report, link in the magazine for October, and see what's happening in podcasting. Something definitely you need to look at. I'm excited to see it grow. Our bookmarked podcast library edition for October is Make Noise, A Creator's Guide to Podcasting and Great Audio Storytelling with Eric Nuzum. An awesome book. Definitely one that you need to keep near the monitor, near your recording equipment, near your microphone, and look at it often. Eric Nuzum creates a great book here for us called Make Noise. I would love for you to check it out. Check out Eric's book in the magazine. Click through and grab a copy and read and share and apply, because there's a lot of good information here that can help your podcast grow. Make Noise, A Creator's Guide to Podcasting and Great Audio Storytelling by Eric Nuzum in October's magazine. Go through, check it out. More resources coming up. If you have a great resource that you love and we haven't talked about it yet, then definitely reach out to me. I'd love to share something that inspires you and keeps you podcasting. Reach out to CanadianPodcaster.com. I'd love to hear the resources that you're in love with right now. Thanks for checking that out. A reminder for everybody that we have a twice a week online meetup for podcasters. And this is a great opportunity for you to meet podcasters from around the world, not just Canada, US, Italy, France. We've got some great people that are joining us around podcasting. And you get to meet these great podcasters in a non-threatening, no sales funnel type meetup on meetup.com. Links through howtopodcast.ca, my website for the How to Podcast series. We'd love to have you there. I believe that podcasters should never podcast alone. So if you're interested, we're doing one at the time of recording this. We're doing one today. It's a Tuesday. We have Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern and Saturdays at 11 a.m. Eastern. And we get together and talk all things podcasting, support each other, build each other up, listen to each other's shows, and learn more about this craft of podcasting from some great experts, great conversation, and a community that loves and cherishes fellow podcasters. So don't podcast alone. Come and join us at the How to Podcast series meetup on meetup.com. And again, find us at howtopodcast.ca. One of the featured tools we have in the magazine for October is Adobe Podcast. Now, I use Adobe Podcast for my interview podcasts. I have my own setup. I'm pretty happy with it, but my guests come to me from all different formats, setups, sometimes with a laptop microphone, no earphones at all, no microphone. And Adobe Podcast helps me to make them sound better. I want my guests to always sound better. But again, when we're having a guest come on and they do 1 or 2 podcast episodes a year, maybe ever, they're not going to go out and spend all that money for equipment. That's not what they do. They're there to talk about their book, in that case, for my show. So tools like Adobe Podcast really help us to shape and correct things that we can to make our guests sound even better than they expected. And I love Adobe Podcast for that. I use the enhanced audio option, but I'm actually now part of the beta testing for new features coming up in Adobe Podcast, soon to be released down the road. But now I'm part of that and testing out some new features from a podcaster's point of view to help us use this tool better. So I'll have some more information for you in the future because it's kind of hush-hush. But I'm working on some stuff with Adobe right now and really enjoying the team there and all that they do. Go check out Adobe Podcast. It's a great tool for independent podcasters who don't have a team of 20, don't have a huge budget, but want to have the best audio sound possible. It's a great tool, Adobe Podcast, link in the magazine. Go check it out. I think it'll really help you with your show. If you have any questions about that, I'd love to help you as well. From a user's perspective, I can give you some guidance and some advice on using the tool effectively for your next episode. Adobe Podcast in the online magazine for October for the Canadian Podcaster magazine. Check it out. So it's that time in the middle of the month where we feature the podcasters that we have in the magazine this month. Now, my wife and I went to Pod Summit last September, 2024, and we got a chance. We have friends that live out there, and they took us to Banff, and we had a great time. Like, what an amazing and gorgeous place to visit for 2 people from Ontario who've never really been in Calgary before, in that area of Alberta. To go to Banff was gorgeous. Now, had I known there was a travel podcast that talks about Banff, I would be like, come on, I should be listening to this, because they have some great tips, some great advice, restaurant guides, all kinds of great stuff. It's the Banff Travel Podcast, and I have a little clip for you here of the podcast. It's a great show, great host, and probably one of the most beautiful places in the world that you'll visit. And I'm biased because I live in Canada, but I think you should go. But before you go listen to the Banff Travel Podcast. Here's a little clip from the show.
If you're considering a trip to Banff in October, you're looking at what I call the Great Transition Month. This is when autumn puts on its final spectacular show before winter takes center stage. You'll experience everything from golden aspens reflecting in crystal clear lakes to the first dramatic snowfalls, dusting the mountain peaks. But October in Banff comes with some unique challenges and incredible rewards, and there are definitely some things you need to know before you go. Before we dive into everything October has to offer, don't forget to grab my free Banff and Area Restaurant Guide. It covers all the best spots in Banff, Canmore, Lake Louise, and Jasper, complete with menu links and Google Maps so you can spend less time worrying about where to eat and more time enjoying your trip. You can get it for free at travelbanffcanada.com/support. I have to be honest, I get just as excited talking about October as I do any other month in Banff. And while September might be my absolute favorite, October is still pretty incredible. If September is this beautiful blend of summer and autumn, then October is autumn wrestling with winter, so you're very likely going to get a bit of both. I have these pictures from one year on one weekend where our family was on a lovely mountain bike ride near Johnson Lake on Saturday, and on Sunday we were hiking in the snow. October typically starts out feeling a lot like late September. You've still got pleasant daytime temperatures, beautiful fall colors, and most everything is still open. But snow can happen at any time, and as October progresses, you start to feel winter's approach. And honestly, that transition creates some of the most dramatic and beautiful scenery you'll ever see in the Rockies. Last year, Dan and I had shuttle tickets up to Lake O'Hara on the last day, October 2nd. We had to completely change our hiking plans because of the amount of snow up there. But we embraced it and still had a wonderful day. We just needed to adjust our hiking plans to a trail a little bit more suitable for hiking in the snow.
So there you go. That gives you a little taste of what it's like to be in Banff. I went to a Cajun restaurant in Banff, and it was interesting, to say the least. My first time ever trying alligator. And I'm not the most adventurous eater. And my friends put me up to it. I did it, but oh my gosh. Eating something that can eat me, that was a very interesting thing. Anyways, definitely check out the podcast. It's great. And again, the recipe guides they have, and you can really do a lot of planning ahead of time before you arrive on scene, on site for your trip to Banff. Definitely go check out that podcast. Great idea. I love local podcasting. I think it's a missing gem in podcasts. So if you live anywhere close to something special, I live near Niagara Falls. Wherever you are, there's something special about where you live, and a local podcast could be so much fun. So think about it and use that as an example. That's a great idea for a podcast. We also have Heart-Led, Soul-Fed, and we're going to feed you with this podcast. It's practical spiritual podcast for you, and I hope you enjoy it. Here's a little taste, again, featured in the October edition of the Canadian Podcaster Online Magazine, Heart-Led and Soul-Fed. Here you go.
Welcome, soul healers, to the Heart-Led, Soul-Fed podcast. I'm psychic medium and old soul Christine Gold. This is a safe space to explore all things mystical and magical, embodying practical spirituality, and truly reclaiming who we are at a soul level. Living this lifetime heart-led and soul-fed. Subscribe on your favorite way to podcast and let the healing begin.
So there you go. We're going to feed you up there and fill you up. That's a great podcast to check out. Definitely go look at it in the online magazine for October, CanadianPodcaster.com. We also have the opportunity for us to get more money. Now, I need more money. And if only there was a podcast called More Money. Oh, but there is the More Money podcast. And it's been around for a very long time. Talk about equity. This podcast is great. You're going to learn so much about how to grow your income and how to save money and how to build your resources. And you're going to learn so much from this podcast. It's in the magazine for October, and I'd love for you to go check it out. And check out a long-standing Canadian podcast that started from a simple idea and some simple feedback and now has grown over time. That's called equity. That's called knowing how to use your resources and watch them grow. More Money is a great podcast for you, and it'll encourage you on your money journey. Here's a little clip of More Money on the Canadian Podcaster Online Magazine mid-month check-in. Here's some more money for you.
Hello, and welcome back to the More Money Podcast. I am your host, Jessica Morehouse, and this is the season finale for season 20 of the show. But most importantly, this is the episode to kind of mark the 10-year anniversary or 10th birthday of the More Money Podcast. How the hell did that happen? So, little context in case you're new, or maybe you've only been listening for a few years, but I know there are some of you who have been listening to the show for 10 years, which is a lot of me. Thank you so much for listening all that time. That's wild. So I got this little idea in my mind back in June 2025 to start a podcast, and part of it was because at that time, I had just been blogging. Blogging was the thing to do back in the day. And I just never, I don't know. It just never, I just didn't love it, quite honestly, which is funny now that I actually do love writing. I thought I was never, honestly, a very good writer. And now I'm a best-selling author. Everything But Money, out now. Grab your copy. So I, was working a corporate job in marketing at a law firm. And I was looking for some new challenge. And it was actually on my way. I was with a coworker, and we were on our way to, I think it was Kitchener, the office there, to give some social media presentation or something like that. And we had, lots of time to talk in the car about, anything and everything. And I'm like, you know what, maybe I'll ask her just to see what she thinks is a stupid idea to start a podcast. Because at that time, which sounds so funny now, I thought, podcasts and that whole market was oversaturated. There are too many podcasts. And, how would I ever make any waves when there's so many great shows out there at that time, which is crazy. It really wasn't. It was actually a great time to start a podcast, apparently. And she's like, you should do it. That's a great idea. And honestly, just having one person who, kind of just was kind of like a third party, like an outside perspective to say like, yeah, give it a go. I'm like, maybe I should give it a go. And so I started it maybe a few months after that.
Isn't it great when your friends and family look at you and go, yeah, you really should start a podcast? Has that happened to you? Yeah. It's great because they see it in you. They see your passion for what you talk about, what you do, and all the people that you want to help. And they're like, yeah, you're a natural. You should be doing this. And it's good to find people around you that can support you in that way. Again, we have our meetup group on howtopodcast.ca. We have this magazine. We have resources for Canadian voices in podcasting. And I'd love to encourage you. If you ever want to just chat, podcasting, talk about your ideas, definitely reach out to me through CanadianPodcaster.com. Love to make some time and have a virtual coffee with you and chat about your idea for your show. If you don't have anybody in your corner cheering you on, reach out to your friendly Dave here, and I'd love to be that for you. I have one of my shows here. It's featured in the magazine for October. It's Living the Next Chapter. It's my author podcast that I've had for over 3 years. And in the month of November, it's 30 days of podcasting, 30 days in a row, 30 episodes. And it's part of the National Podcast Post-Month Challenge for podcasters. And I will talk about it near the end here, but this is my little short episode to talk about what's happening in November and what's coming, and to thank the audience for being with me for over 600 plus episodes in 3 years on Living the Next Chapter. It's been a great show, great authors, great conversations. And if you're looking for your next favorite read, go check out livingthenextchapter.com. And here's my little clip for one of my most recent episodes on Living the Next Chapter. Check it out. Hey, welcome back to Living the Next Chapter. It's Dave with you. Normally, I'm here with a guest, but it's just you and me this time. I want to check in, say hi. Thank you for being part of the podcast. Thank you for being part of our family here at Living the Next Chapter. I really love doing this show. We get to talk to great authors all the time from around the world. If you've been a guest on the show, thank you. If you have been listening to the show for a while, thank you. If this is your very first time, you're like, I'm just going to take a chance on this show. Well, let me just give you an update for brand new ears for the podcast. This show is Living the Next Chapter. It's been around for over 3 years, 600 plus episodes, doing great stuff here. We love great authors, and we love connecting you with real human authors, not AI, human authors who actually write with their own words. Novel, right? A novel idea. That's a book pun. That was for free. And I'm Dave, and I'm the host. I live in Ontario, Canada, near a big place called Niagara Falls. Big hill, lots of water. Sorry to spoil it, but yeah, it's really cool. And I'm not an author. Nope, never written a book in my life. I've never done it. I've never put pen to paper, fingers to keyboards, and typed out a book ever. I don't know how to do that. So I created this show where I get to talk to authors about their journey so that their stories can help you and how they went from zero to hero to becoming an author. So that'll inspire you if that's your path, if it's not your path to write a book, but you want to connect with great authors and you just want to hey, I want to fill up my library with great, amazing authors. Well, then you're in the right spot. Why is this show different than all of those other author podcasts? Again, the host isn't an author, so that's interesting. But as well, we have conversations. They're not scripted. They're not pre-planned. They're not question, answer, and we're done. We get into it, and we talk about all things to do with these great, amazing authors. So again, if it's your first time here, thank you for pressing play. I want to encourage everyone, though, whether it's your first time or your 600th time, to do a couple things for me to help the show. One, this coffee runs on coffee. This podcast. Wow, that's fun. So that's Dave here having fun with my podcast, Living the Next Chapter. Again, if you're a reader, if you're an author, if you love either one of those people, then there's the show for you, livingthenextchapter.com. I know there's a lot of amazing author podcasts out there, but for a podcast about authorship hosted by a non-author, we get to some really interesting conversations with our guests. So I'd love for you to go check out livingthenextchapter.com and check out the amazing people on the show. Some pretty cool people. You'll be shocked. There's some great people on that podcast. The other one we're going to end off for October is Successfully Ambiguous, and with a question mark at the end. It's a podcast, and it's proudly Canadian, which I love. And here's a little taste of Successfully Ambiguous, question mark. Hope you enjoy this. Here's a little taste of the show.
Welcome to Successfully Ambiguous, the podcast that asks, when opportunity knocks, will you be ready to answer? I'm Christine Brooks Cappadocia, Assistant Vice President of Continuing Studies at York University. In my own career, I started out as an artist, often juggling up to 5 jobs just to get by. In this podcast, we'll meet some of the people who inspire me, learn how they got to where they are today, and the lessons they learned along the way.
You'll find that it's never that straight line path. It's always a little jagged, right, and crooked, and it's because you're learning about yourself.
You can only arrive upon a point of decision having gone on the journey to get there. And so what that means is you have to build up those experiences so that you have an appreciation for what is that next path in the road that you need to take.
I think we're often allowing failure to stop us in our tracks before we even get to really think about making those connections or asking for a connection.
I would suggest you use every day very judiciously and make it about reaching your full potential.
So join me as we learn how to embrace ambiguity to build success.
So there you go, a few great podcasts here from Canada. Canadian speakers, Canadian podcasters, Canadian creators. It's what it's all about here. And we want to feature you in November. So, CanadianPodcaster.com. Reach out, send me a link to your show, your bio, whatever you got. I'd love to do a clip and a feature of you in the next magazine coming up. A few other things we're working on. I mentioned earlier for Living the Next Chapter that we're participating in National Podcast Post Month. So, NAPODPOMO, NaPodPomo. Links in the podcast. You'll see it right there on your phone as we're talking about this. A link to the website. This is like the 18th year of this challenge in November to do 30 episodes in 30 days. Now, I know a lot of you are like, wait, that's impossible. It's not impossible. With planning, you can work on this. And if you can't do it this year, put it on your calendar for 2026 for the 19th year. But what happens is we do an episode daily in the month of November. Every day for November, a new episode. It doesn't have to be 45 minutes. Living the Next Chapter is going to be 45 minutes, my author podcast, because I have that many interviews banked, ready to go. But you could do a 5-minute, 2-minute, 1-minute, 3-minute podcast episode. Your top 30 quotes, your top 30 recipes, your top 30 books, top 30 movies, top 30 funny things that have happened on your show, whatever you got. But release a daily episode. And the beautiful thing about NaPodPomo, National Podcast Post Month, is you do a lot of work in a condensed portion of time. You have limited time, limited ability to put things off. It's just got to get done. And when you do something that much in that short of time, you're going to get better. You're going to get better on the mic. You're going to get better editing. You're going to get better at building content. You're going to do better interviews. There's a big win. And your audience gets a whole month, 30 days of you, 30 episodes in a row of your show, and you'll see a huge spike in your listenership, in your engagement, just because you're creating more often. So my challenge for you, if you don't have time between October 15th and November 1st to produce 30 episodes, what can you do? What can you do more than you do normally for your show? Do you do twice a month? Then maybe a weekly episode, add 2 more, and do that for National Podcast Post Month. If you already do a weekly, can you do twice a week? If you do twice a week, can you do 5 days a week? If you do 5, can you do 7 a week? Like, what is it you can do instead of what you can't do? And do that. And talk about National Podcast Post Month. Go to the website. They've got talking points, artwork, video clips, explanations on how it works. And I encourage you to do that for November if you can. If you have any time to do this, jump in, be a part of it. And if not, put it on your calendar now for 2026 so that you can participate with all of the other podcasters celebrating a day dedicated to podcasting, not just one day, but 30 days in a row, and watch your podcast grow. It's great. I've been participating for now. This will be my 4th year. And out of my 9 podcasts that I host, 4 of them are participating, meaning I have 120 episodes going out in the month of November. Yeah, 120 episodes. It's over 2 years of content if I was doing a weekly episode. So all in 1 month for 4 shows. So participate, join in, be part of it, get organized, start in advance. I've been working on this since August of 2025 for November of 2025. National Podcast Post Month. NAPODPOMO is the website. Link in the show notes. Would love for you to come and join us and be a part of it. And if you can't participate by uploading, then download, listen, and share all of these amazing podcasts that are participating. And tell somebody about podcasting and help us to grow this great medium of podcasting, one listener at a time. Do your part and share podcasting with your friends and family. That coworker, Stan, who sits beside you in the lunchroom, tell them about podcasting. In the month of November, 30 days, 30 episodes. That's the challenge. Are you up for it? Check it out, NAPODPOMO. Link in the show notes. And through the magazine, we'll have updates for you in November about how NAPODPOMO is going, with, again, more links and more conversation there. A little project that I'm working on, side project, because I have time for yet another side project, is I'm doing some panel discussions around podcasting. I do a lot of co-hosted episodes on the How to Podcast series, howtopodcast.ca, but I like to do a panel discussion here and there, maybe more often than not. And what I'm looking for are people that are interested in a panel discussion. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to be doing podcasting forever, but come with your opinion, your workflow, what works for you, what's your challenges, what's your opportunities, what's working, what's not working for your show. We're going to have a group of podcasters on. It's not just Canadians, but I'd love to do an all-Canadian version of it as well. That would be fun. But we're going to talk podcasting. We're going to bring on some amazing guests as well to join the conversation and talk podcasting together, representing all of our shows and featuring a great guest. That's another thing we have planned. If that's of interest for you, you can reach out to me here through CanadianPodcaster.com, howtopodcast.ca. It goes on and on. I'd love to have you be a part of a panel discussion about podcasting. And like I said, a Canadian version would be spectacular. So please, if you're interested, let me know. I'd like to have you come join our panel and talk podcasting and help a podcaster who's listening at the same time. So between the meetups, the magazine, the podcasts about podcasting, all of the things that are going on, we're here to support you. That's the whole goal of this at the end of the day. We want you to be successful with your podcast, however you measure your success. 1 listener, 100,000 listens, $1 made, no money made, whatever it is for you. We want your podcast to grow. We want you to find success from your own metrics, not someone else's, and to be inspired. Nobody should podcast alone. It's the whole idea behind this magazine is we want to feature great Canadian voices. And if we haven't featured you yet, it might be because we don't know about you. It could be that. So please reach out, CanadianPodcaster.com. You can reach out through email. You can reach out through the magazine, the website, lots of ways to reach out and be in touch with us here so that we can feature you in November. I am looking, again, I'm asking for people to write for the magazine, whether it's one-time returning articles that you do for the magazine. If you write blogs, if you write on Substack, if you share your opinions about podcasting, and if you have a Canadian lens to what you do, I would love to feature you in the magazine. The more voices, the better. Again, I don't want this to be a big Dave fest where it's just my opinions and my thoughts and my articles and all about Dave. I want this to be all about us. So if you're interested, please reach out to me. I'm working on November's magazine already, and I'd love to have you be part of it. So please reach out. CanadianPodcaster.com is the website, through the magazine, and I'd love for you to share this magazine with another Canadian podcaster, content creator that you know of, who doesn't even know about this magazine. Let's get out there and share. If you have a service, a product, something that could help a Canadian podcaster, whatever that is, a tool, a resource, a book, reach out to me. I'd like to feature you as well. I'm not looking for money for the magazine. I'm looking to give credit to the people who want to participate. So please, for free, reach out to me. I'd love to feature you in November. We'll just keep making more pages. We'll keep making more of these. You keep reading them. You keep sharing them. We'll keep making them. Thank you. Have a great rest of October. Enjoy the fall colors. And we'll see you in November. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll talk soon. Take care.